Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this special occasion. I'm Reeve Dan Hamilton of Cypress County, and I'm going to MC the Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee Medal Ceremony. Please join me in welcoming our Honorable Recipient, Mr. David Carter. Now I'd ask for all yous to rise that can and join us in the singing of the national anthem. That ain't happening. Sean?
Oh, Canada.
Go. Thank you. Be seated. Okay, welcome to the ceremony for the Queen Elizabeth II Platinum Jubilee Medal. We're gathered here to celebrate Her Majesty with the Platinum Jubilee, as well as the big fancy words I got in here. Explorer, and I'm not going to spit it out either. Exponential Albertan, who has a great forum to meet for the last 43 years. The Platinum Jubilee Medal commenced the 70th anniversary of Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II's accession of the throne of the Queen of a Canadian upon the death of her father, King George VI, on February 6, 1952. The Queen was crowned on June 2, 1953. During coronation ceremonies in Westminster Abbey. The ceremonies were televised and watched by more than 27 million people in the UK. Ours today is on YouTube, and I'm sure the audience is comparable. Her late Majesty dedicated her life to serving Canada and the United Kingdom and the entire Commonwealth. She is Britain's longest reigning and longest lived monarch. It was her wishes that the Jubilee events be an occasion for enjoyed a sense of the togetherness and the opportunities for the future, which makes today a perfect opportunity to celebrate someone like Mr. Carter. As both a politician, husband, and father, David Carter has been a wonderful example of all those who know him. He cares deeply about his fellow men and shows in numerous projects he has undertaken, from places of worship to places to live. Mr. Carter has given himself to his communities he has served. Since 1976, he has cared for the church and cemetery grounds at St. Margaret's. And I know he will tell you that this medal is as much of the community there is as for him. That's the kind of person he is. But don't But we all know David Carter is an extraordinary leader, and if he never planned on becoming one. In the same fashion, he served as an MLA in Calgary for 14 years. For much of the time, he was additional speaker of the Alberta legislature, ensuring procedure was followed and the businesses of the provincial government are done correctly. Somehow he's also managed to write 18 books, poetry, take photos, and more. A little busy. When the county was invited to nominate someone for this prestigious award, David Carter's name came immediately to mind. He especially, and we are lucky to have him, I know, like to him, I'll spit it out. Drew, you're up.
Thank you, Reeve Hamilton, to all the Cypress County councilors, all the Cypress County staff, and all the residents of Cypress County that are here today.
Use your mics of a call.
Oh, okay.
Story.
So I should sit?
Yeah, that's why I had to sit.
Well, thank you. I'll start again. Reeve Hamilton, Cypress County councilors, and all Cypress County, and Mr. David Carter. On behalf of the province of Alberta and the entire population of Cypress County, Cypress Medicine Hat, I am so pleased and privileged to be here to help Cypress County honor you, sir. First of all, though, it's not only about honoring you, it's about honoring a similar individual with similar commitment, similar courage, and similar skill, and that's Queen Elizabeth II. My goodness, have we ever seen anyone do their job better for 70 years, again with such grace, courage, and skill as our late Queen? God bless her and all she did for us. And Mr. Carter, it's such apt and appropriate honor for you, because I have seen you exhibit exactly those same characteristics. You know, your work at St. Margaret's, building the church, building the Christian community, when you went considerably out of your way this year to enhance the Remembrance Day service and honor what Cypress County, what Albertans, and what Canadians have done, sacrificing so much, including their lives at all times of conflict. Sir, that was outstanding and part of the reason why you're being recognized today. Your book writing, I wasn't surprised to hear it is 18 books that you've written. I particularly like your stuff on the history of Cypress County and Medicine Hat and the World War II post-prisoner stuff, and with our strong German and heritage that we have here. Sir, your books have entertained and educated a lot of Cypress Medicine Hatters and Albertans for years, so thank you for that. But maybe because I'm a politician, I want to concentrate on your time in the legislature. You were Speaker, I believe, from 1986 to 1993, the Don Getty years. And when I walk by your picture hanging in the halls of the legislature, I am reminded of what I've heard so often. You served capably, you served fairly, you served competently, and you served with courage. I understand you put forward 172 words that you cannot say in the legislature. There's at least 172 words that you cannot say in the legislature, so thank you for quantifying that. And with the things that have gone on there in the 11 years that I've been there, I'm sure that list will grow. So,
Do you know how many I threw out?
I'm scared to ask. How many? 6? Just 6. Okay, so anyway, once again, on behalf of the entire province of Alberta, Cypress Medicine Hat, and the 87 MLAs that I'm grateful to share the opportunity to speak for Albertans. Thank you for all you've done for us, and congratulations on this recognition, sir.
Thanks, Drew.
You betcha.
Thank you, Drew. I now invite Mr. Carter to meet me up front here, and we'd like to present him with the medal.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
leave while I'm gone.
I'm trying.
Just want to come stand in the center. Oh.
There we go.
Picture.
Yeah. Well done. And well done to you, sir.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, better speak loud. Can I?
I've got confidence in you.
This is for your outstanding service. As a citizen of Cypress County, we are proud to award David Carter the Queen Elizabeth II's Platinum Jubilee Medal.
Thanks again.
Congratulations.
The mic is all yours.
If you want to say some words to folks at home, make sure you
Yes.
Yeah. Got to use the mic. There we go.
Perfect.
Order.
Old habits die hard.
Yeah. Drew is fortunate he was never in the legislature while I was speaker, because he would have heard that shouted much louder on occasion, but not just directed at him. Well, first, to all of you, I'm extremely grateful and I offer thanks to you on behalf of myself, my family, my associates, my friends, all across the span of my 88 years. When I was first elected speaker, someone kindly sent the words to me, and it was words by John Donne, the poet, and it was, "No man is an island." And that's certainly true for each one of us, because as we live our lives, we have our own experiences, and we're answerable unto ourselves, and eventually, I believe, answerable to God, the God of love. Drew, I appreciate your comments, and the research that I wrote that many words out of order. I can think of one or two that have come to mind. I've also remember a few occasions where there were some interesting words directed at me, and people thought that I couldn't hear them. And again, as I mentioned to you, Drew, about the number of occasions I was reluctantly had to have members leave the House because they didn't pay attention to the rules of the legislature, nor the parliamentary tradition of Beauchesne, you're familiar with that word, from the House of Commons, or Erskine May from the very thick volume from the Westminster Chamber in London, England. Cypress County has something to do with me ending up being speaker. What could it possibly be? Well, out there at St. Margaret's, behind our house, there's a one-room Atco trailer. And years ago, to my dismay, when I was invited to be speaker by Don Getty, this happened. I went in to see him, and he said, "Well, we have to, because you have respect of all parties in the House, we want you to be the speaker." Well, after a little bit, I said, "Thank you." And then I was very cheeky. Then I said, "Mr. Premier, did you think of me for anything else? Because who wants to be speaker And the Alberta legislature set up, there's no desk in front of you. So your body English also explains to the whole house as to how the house is going to be managed. I inherited the first legislature that was incredibly complicated, had the most diverse number of members. And at that time, 60% of the new members had never been in the legislature as elected members. No wonder I would, looking backwards, say, God must have been laughing to get me into that type of position. And then again, because this medal, again, thank you, will be placed on my preaching scarf as a padre to the Legion in Redcliffe. And is that it be worn with honor, with respect. Yes, I was privileged with my wife to meet Her Majesty back in 1990, and on other occasions, Princess Margaret and also Princess Fergie and her husband. But on all these occasions, one is just so totally impressed to your heart as to how important it is to be able to serve, which is exactly what you all are doing, plus your staff, because you couldn't function without your staff, and you know it full well. And again, with respect to service, again, I have great respect for members of the legislature, and when I was first elected, I was no longer, and I continue to this day, not to be a member of a political party. And so I'm still able, and as mentioned in the press release, that I still have a disease. I watch parliamentary procedure still, and question period in particular. So it is a disease. But again, I compliment each one of you, because this is the basic building blocks of parliamentary democracy. And one of my books is about democracy and the fact that it must be guarded every single day. I was fortunate through my parents, my father in particular, who served as a Navy chaplain in the Second World War, to respect honesty, loyalty, integrity. And that's incumbent upon every one of it in this room, but especially upon the councillors. You are the building blocks. Perhaps out of you someday, long after Drew has retired or ridden, that one of you may well be the MLA for Cypress County. And then you will go through a whole bunch of interesting challenges as you try to come to deal with and protect the real essential things of parliamentary democracy. As I say thank you here on behalf of friends and my colleague friend, the director of St. Margaret's Eagle Butte Medicine Lodge Cooley Historic Society, that we are thankful, and this is seen as an honor, being part of this fine county. I mentioned you have a real problem. Well, you have a very important building block as to why I'm here. I mentioned about meeting with Don Getty. The very first thing I did was have all the House rules put on to tape. And then I came straight to St. Margaret's, which was then derelict. And I was in that Atco trailer for 10 days in a blizzard, no phone. And I read nothing, not the Bible. I read the other Bible, Erskine May, House Procedures, and Beauchesne. Wow, no wonder I have a disease. But again, I come back to how the growth of St. Margaret's is very much what happens in your lives, different projects that you have, different interests that you have. Yes, also that same Atco trailer is where prisoner of war book about Medicine Hat and all the prisoner of war camps across Canada in both World Wars, including the special background for Ukrainian and Central European people who came and helped to build this province. So that's sometime when you go out there, and the doors are never locked, and oh yes, there's picnic tables and trees, and there's also the only open free outhouse all the way from Dunmore to the Wild Horse. And to make sure you're comfortable, the outhouse is unisex, and it has a padded seat. So I invite you, when you come out for a picnic or whatever, you can sit there and contemplate, open the door, and you can see at least 10 kilometers towards Montana. It's a great place to meditate. I know right now that there are members of my family in Calgary, in England, in Florida, and in Newfoundland, where my dear wife comes from, on the Northern Peninsula, who are watching right now. They all are part of the honor which you have bestowed upon me. And again, some people may think otherwise, especially when I was Speaker. I got called some very interesting names. Very interesting names, and I won't publish them right now.
Next book.
Yeah, I would be ruled out of order just like that. But again, thank you so much. To all my friends and relatives, and to all the people in this very interesting county. And above all, I remind you again, you are the building blocks and the defenders of parliamentary democracy. And it's found right here in this chamber and with each one of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. I don't have any notes left on the paper, so this must be the end of the ceremony. But thank you for your speech. Thank you for coming out, Drew. We appreciate it, you being here. And congratulations on your medal. Yeah. Oh, we gotta do that. Sorry. Wasn't on the notes. Uh-oh.
Oh, boy. Yeah, keep me going. Wait this way.
Thank you.
Can we get a picture with all of the council and Mr. Carter?
Yep.
Just wants to come on this side.
Absolutely.